Here we go. Drake, let the games begin. UMG has filed a motion to dismiss Aubrey Drake Graham's Rule 202 petition pursuant to the Texas Citizens Participation Act. Now, this is a motion to dismiss either the petition Drake filed initially, which included Spotify and iHeartMedia Radio, because that was also filed in Texas, which he recently dropped. And we have to remember that UMG held its response from Drake dropping that petition. Remember, Spotify was okay with Drake dropping the petition. UMG withheld its response, and I believe this is why. Or this is just a direct petition about the lawsuit, the new lawsuit. But I think it's about the former because it has the same case number as that original petition that took place that was filed in late November, as you can see on the screen here from their original reply to the first petition against themselves and iHeartMedia. Now, I'm not a lawyer at all. I'm not gonna pretend like I am one, but I do understand how to read business contracts. So I do understand legal jargon a little bit, but yeah, let's go through a little bit of this as to why I think Drake doesn't understand that when you go against major corporations, they have way better attorneys than you do, and they see things coming. You know what I mean? So I think what's happening is UMG is going against that original petition because if they get that original petition thrown out, then they have a very good chance of also getting this new lawsuit thrown out. Now, I'm not going to get super nerdy and read through all this, but there's two things that we have to understand, and that's Rule 202 petition and the TCPA, which is the Texas Citizens Participation Act. Again, this lawsuit, if Drake was to win, could just really damage all free speech, especially free speech and artistic expression, which would just really kill hip hop in a lot of ways. So like I said, this lawsuit is dangerous, and this is why I'm covering it a little bit more meticulously like this instead of just speaking over it like everybody else is doing. Oh, Drake is in their reply. We need to get into this a little bit if we're really serious about hip hop music going forward. So first off, let's talk about the petition. A Rule 202 petition, which is the original petition Drake filed for discovery, is a request to the court for permission to take a deposition before a lawsuit is filed. The petition is used to gather information, to investigate a potential claim, or to preserve testimony for use in a future lawsuit. What is a Rule 202 petition used for? A Rule 202 petition can be used to gather information about a potential claim or suit, for example, to identify potential defendants, collect evidence, or assess the strength of the case. Now, this is what they're referring to. They're going to keep referring to this in their response, right? Because this is the response to that petition. This is not a response to the new lawsuit Drake just filed. This is a response to that original petition. Now, they did not accept his rescinding of that original petition. We have to remember that part. And this is the reason why. That petition goes against the TCPA, which is the Texas Citizens Participation Act, which is a law that protects citizens from lawsuits that try to silence or intimidate them from speaking out on public issues. It is also known as the Texas Anti-SLAPP Law. Now, if you follow the news, you've heard that before, which stands for Strategic Lawsuit Against Public Participation. Now, with the new regime that we entering into, with the executive branch of the federal government, y'all know what I mean, hint, hint, I'm not gonna mention any names. This kind of stuff is important because this is gonna be coming up a lot as far as censorship is concerned. Now, how the TCPA works, how it works. The TCPA allows citizens to file a motion to dismiss a lawsuit that violates their First Amendment rights. The court must rule on the motion within 60 days. If the citizen wins, the lawsuit's filer must pay the citizen's court costs and attorney fees. Another thing that I think UMG wants is Drake to pay for all this legal nonsense that he's taking him through, both the petition and the lawsuit. But now, what it protects, the TCPA protects the right to free speech, the right to petition, and the right to associate. It protects citizens from lawsuits that are intended to harass or chill speech. Very important. It protects small businesses from lawsuits that are intended to silence them. Also very important. Now, the reason all this is taking place in Texas is because that is Drake's United States residence. Now, the new UMG lawsuit that's just about UMG and that's about the defamation lawsuit, I should say, is taking place in the Southern District of New York because it's a Fed case. and the Southern District of New York handles most of the high-profile Fed cases for the United States of America. But this is related to that, and I'm going to read through a couple of pieces in this. We're not going to get too nerdy into it because there's a lot of legal jargon in here and it's really boring. But we're going to get into why this is probably going to lead to the new case being dismissed, the Fed case being dismissed, and why Drake is just super lame for filing such a dangerous lawsuit. You know what I'm saying? Just because his feelings got hurt and he lost a rap battle. So just at the beginning, UMG Recordings Incorporated files its motion to dismiss Aubrey Drake Graham's petition for pre-suit deposition under Texas Rule of Civil Procedure 202 pursuant to the Texas Citizens Participation Act. That's the TCPA. And the first one is the petition 202, Rule 202, and shows the following in support. Now we get into the introduction, and to me, the introduction kind of says it all. And again, this is a prelude. You have to remember this precedes, even though it was just filed, it precedes the defamation lawsuit, okay? Because this is a response to the petition. So Petitioner's Rule 202 petitions arises out of an ongoing feud between two prominent rap artists, Petitioner, Drake, and Kendrick Lamar Duckworth, aka Kendrick Lamar. UMG distributes the recording of both of these artists beginning in the spring of 2024. Petitioner and Kendrick Lamar each released recordings containing lyrics which attack the other performer, which are known within the genre as diss tracks. This quote-unquote rap battle accumulated in a recording by Kendrick Lamar called Not Like Us, released May 2024, in which the petitioner has taken offense. Now, rather than addressing his grievances with Kendrick Lamar, important, petitioner has resorted to strategic legal retaliation against UMG and others in an apparent effort to pressure them to limit the distributions of Not Like Us. Now, the TCPA protects parties from this exact kind of legal retaliation by providing an expedited process to summarily dismiss legal actions, including petitions for pre-suit depositions brought under the Texas Rule of Civil Procedure 202, and that's that Rule 202, that are designed and intended to intimidate and punish people for exercising their First Amendment rights. Indeed, Petitioner's Rule 202 petition is particularly baseless because on January 15th of 2025, petitioner filed a lawsuit against UMG in New York asserting that the very pay-for-play claim that the petitioner ostensibly seeks to investigate here. Because Petitioner's Rule 202 petition is related to and was filed in response to UMG's protected free speech, and because petitioner cannot carry the burden to establish by clear and specific evidence that he is entitled to a pre-suit discovery under Rule 202, the court should dismiss petitioner's retaliatory legal action against UMG and award UMG its legal fees. So they're saying all that to say this simply. Because the original petition was baseless and against the TCPA, you know, the petition shouldn't have been allowed is kind of what they're saying, right? It was a false petition, or it was under false pretenses because it's against the TCPA. Then the lawsuit is also filed under the same false pretenses and is against the protection of freedom of speech, right? Which wouldn't be the TCPA, but it would be the First Amendment, right? Everybody's First Amendment right to free speech. So they're using this state act, right? Because that was a state case, to also back their position in the federal lawsuit, right? Because if this was, and this is probably the reason Drake and them rescinded the petition in the first place, because they figured they weren't going to win, because UMG was ready to kind of strike that down with showing that how that petition was against the TCPA. He and his team trying to switch their strategy to make it a defamation case should be thrown out of court as well. So they're going to get this petition thrown out first, which is why they didn't accept his rescinding of the petition. And they said, we'll respond later at a later date, is because they knew that they were going to do this to avoid any kind of future lawsuits from Drake, which of course he filed. And they waited for him to file it, didn't respond. Now they're coming with an official response, and both sides have also requested time to get their cases together, so to speak, because of the wildfires in LA. Both of them are pretty much based in LA, both Drake's record company and UMG's, one of UMG's headquarters is also based in Los Angeles. So they both need time to deal with the ramifications of the wildfires that's going on in LA. Prayers to everybody in Los Angeles and everybody who's affected by those wildfires on the West Coast and California as a whole. But yeah, I think this is almost checkmate to me. This is check. You know, it's not checkmate, but it's definitely check on the lawsuit. So like I said in my first video where I covered this in a lot more extensively, at least the lawsuit part, this is going to be wiped away because it's just really dangerous. Like I said, I'm going to do, you know, you all who are going to comment on this video, you all who comment on videos, you know, you're in the lawsuit as well. It's not just us YouTubers and reactors and social media influencers, but they put commenters in there as well. And that's why I tell people kind of watch what you say in the comments a lot of times, because they can use comments in videos to sue the person who's making a video, to sue the person that the video is about. Those comments could show up in cases. So that's why when I do lyrical breakdowns and I say, you know, I'm gonna leave out things that could be seen as leading to any kind of legal action against someone else. Again, not me, but maybe the person whose song it is, or maybe the person, you know, because they're using poetic license, they're referencing things that could be seen or that could be brought up in the case. And Drake's lawsuit did that. You know, he has comments from Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us videos on YouTube in the case. So that's why I do that. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm careful with that. That's why I try to be careful what I say. I try to be careful what I break down. You know, keeping it real goes wrong all the time. If you watch Dave Chappelle show, you should know that by now. Some of y'all just, you know, you can't help yourself, I guess. I don't know. But I personally am not trying to end up in nobody's paperwork and nobody's lawsuit. So that's why I'm careful about how I speak about things. But even silly people out there can just use anything, because I don't think that none of the reactors should have been in the lawsuit, but the comments that they use were, if the lawsuit had legs, the comments would have been damning, okay? But the lawsuit ain't got legs. OV hoes are silly, and they're continuing to be shown how silly they really are. Shout out to Kendrick Lamar in the Super Bowl commercial. I'm not gonna do a review of the commercial. It was a regular commercial. There was no deeper meaning that I saw. But like I said, my next video on this will be about the comment section and the comment section of the lawsuit, and the Daylight High U is coming. I'm changing a lot. Starting another channel as well where I'm gonna react to general things that are not just hip hop. Changing the format of the lyrical breakdown videos a little bit. Seeing what we can get away with as far as YouTube's rules, as far as fair use and things like that. So behind the scenes, we're doing a lot of work because we're gonna carry this thing to bigger and better heights in 2025 and beyond. Hip hop is back, in my opinion, and we're gonna do our part to make sure it is represented properly and that the culture reaps the benefits of its impact, power, and prosperity across the country and across the globe. So as always, man, if you haven't already, hit that like button for me. Hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed. Hit the notification bell. Share this video, tell a friend to tell a friend. And thank y'all for watching as always. And we out.